Okay, so it should be going. Okay, question 3. Vote as a group. Should Doug accept the turn offer, yes or no? I said no.
I said no as
Yeah, I
well.
keep freaking out. I might have to switch my phone soon. I said on my paper, but I was really tempted to say yes on the actual pre-discussion poll. I am still on the fence, like, and it's hurting.
I said no. I haven't done all the calculations yet on an
Me
Excel
either. Yeah. But so far
But-
from what I have done, it seems like he eventually could make more from it. Like if other firms are selling for 300 million later.
Yeah, and like he wouldn't even get like I know they said like 2 million cash or whatever, but like he didn't put any money in.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any equity. Like all the investors are going to take a big chunk of that.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
and that's not just the cash. That's like, I think including the stock options.
There's like 2 million stock options, 2 million cash.
Okay, so
Right.
I was feeling pretty good about him not selling until I got to step 8. And it says, what is the greatest weakness to your hypothesis? And what is your greatest alternative to it? And I started changing my own mind because of that.
What made you start changing your
To
mind?
start up another business.
Yeah.
And that way he could retain 100% of it because he'd put his own equity into it.
I just felt like this was just one big idea. Like he was never really wanting to like start a business. So I don't think he would take the money and start another business. I think he would just like take the money, if that makes sense. Because it sounds like he was like a little questioning if he should even start this business. So I don't think he's like an entrepreneur who like wants to do all this stuff because he's like really happy to give someone else the role of CEO and things like that. Like he just wanted to be the founder of the idea.
Right. Like I think he's interested. I mean, again, if his whole interest is just cashing out, then that's great. But I don't think it's completely just cashing out. But if he did cash out, I agree with Kelly. Like he wouldn't do anything else. He'd cash out and be done.
Yeah.
Like he'd go work at another company because he figured out he made a bunch of money. His family's comfortable. He'd go back and work at the other company and do stuff he liked to do, but I think he'd just check out personally. How about you, Jason?
Well, my alternative for this was he could just sell it to Tom Shields instead, just because he doesn't want to own the company. So he could sell it to him for $2 million instead, because he does have the cash for it. So.
Oh my gosh.
My bad.
I like that as an alternative. I didn't even like think about him just like trying to sell it to the other person instead.
But then I just said no because he could still make money off of the company. So I just said no.
The hard part is I still don't feel like his company is still in too early of a stage to really make any money for himself. Like, yeah, he'd come out with stock options. And yeah, he'd come out with the cash. I think the stock options are the biggest thing, though. Like, if he just sells the whole thing and walks away, I mean, again, he's not really getting that much cash, I don't think.
No, not for what it. Right? Yeah. Sorry, I was just gonna say not for like a technology company that's like a brand new idea. I feel like he could get a lot more.
Right.
One of my biggest things, he said that he gave himself $120,000
salary.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, why is his wife complaining about money? Like seriously, his wife was the one that was like really encouraging him to just take the $2 million. Because I don't remember how it phrased it, but it was like, I don't know, something about it would really take off the stress or something. And I'm like, why is she stressed?
So like she makes like, you know, quadruple any of the rest of us make.
Yeah, but and he was living in Colorado. I don't know. I was like, the
It's
cost of
Colorado.
living there has gone up, but it's not like, I don't know.
Not California.
Yeah, I was like, in California, I feel like 120 is like, yeah, a lot of people probably make that just for the cost of living and stuff.
Yeah, my sister lives in California. So
Mm-hmm.
her and her husband worked there. Well, they did. So
Okay, it says
oh,
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say both of them were working there with no kids, and they're both CPAs. So working for one of the big companies. And they live
Yeah.
in Los Angeles. I mean, they're like my house payment in Arizona. Like I have a 15-year mortgage, right? My house payment is $1,200 a month. They have like a 1-bedroom, and it was nice. 1-bedroom condo was $1,400 a month.
Yeah.
And that was cheap. Like houses across the street were selling for like 1 point some odd $1 million. Like, and those are
easily.
like
Yeah.
condos. Anyway, expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found where it said his wife would like the security of having cash right away.
I feel like that's like true though, like because you don't know if this business is going to do super well or not.
Yeah.
It's like it's so early. You have angel like funders and investors, but like you still don't know if like it's going to catch on for the market. So like she probably is like, oh, if you just get out now and take money, like you're guaranteed money.
So I did the math on that, and if he took the $2 million right away and walked away and gave himself, apparently he thinks he needs 120,000 to live per year. That lasts him about a little over 16 years.
Well, that's making the assumption that he doesn't do anything else for 16 years.
Yeah.
His plan, take the
Yes.
cash, go back to work for the other company where he's probably making okay money. So,
but that's
he can
also
invest that.
assuming he gets the whole 2 million, because really, I don't know if you would get all of that just because, like, number one, taxes. I'm sure they're taking some, and then number two, like, if you had to give it to like someone else in the company, like the angel people or not, like if that included trying to pay them as well.
Did anybody do all the calculations for this yet or no?
Not all of them. I kind of just did the same thing I did last time and just like did it in Word and explaining.
I started like an Excel for it, but I haven't finished it. Like I just started it this morning.
I did most of it. I just didn't do the part where he sells the company to the other guy.
I have exactly none of it. But based on the numbers in the case, it looked like he was not going to end up with that. I mean, he'd still end up with a few $100,000, don't get me wrong, but
yeah.
I mean, for if he really feels the idea is potentially worth as much money as he think it is, and it solves a big enough problem, and it really does a good job, then there's no reason he can sell it, if that's what he really believes and he has confidence in it. Because he's making, again, he gave himself a $120,000 a year annual salary, and he can just go back to his old job if it doesn't work. I mean, like, he didn't put any money in. He literally put $0 into this.
Yeah, and I feel like if it does work out, there's even more security because he would be making money consistently for more than 16 years.
Yeah,
that's true.
Have you guys ever watched like anything, or not watched, but like read any like the Rich Dad Poor Dad stuff at all?
Heard about it.
I've read some other books too. I'm trying to remember what it's called.
Sorry, are you saying Rich Dad?
Yeah, Rich
Rich
Dad,
Dad.
Poor Dad.
Never heard of it.
How about like Dave Ramsey stuff?
Yeah, I read the what is it? The has his face right on the cover.
The Total Money Makeover.
Yeah, that's one I read.
So anyway, one of the common themes in those books, like any financial book that really like isn't trying to sell you a bunch of crap, their thing about like financial stability is interesting because essentially what they're saying is working a day job is not secure. Like you don't have any control over the product, you have no control over the outcome, you have no control over your employment. You can get fired tomorrow and there's nothing you can do about it. So essentially, when they talk about like security, they're like, well, security is being able to like work for yourself because you control the outcome. Like if something's not working out, you change it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it was just interesting that way. That was it. My brain might not be functioning all the way, so
It's Saturday morning.
Yeah. Okay, should we move on? So I think most of us vote that no, he should hold off because potentially he could make more money. No one said that he should accept it, but we did go over why we thought maybe he should.
I'm just seeing Exhibit 4.
It says, have I seen Exhibit 4?
I'm just seeing Exhibit 4 for the first time. I'm just saying. I never scrolled down far enough until just now.
Oh, yeah. Which is pretty helpful. Earlier. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's helpful to see like how it's actually broken down.
Dude, Cosmin and Shields have a lot of common shares between them.
Yeah, and the employee option pool is like really limited.
well, they're like engineers. They're not the ones with the vision.
Yeah. And like they shouldn't be the ones making the huge decisions anyways. Approximate revenue. I think that's helpful too.
Where are you seeing it?
Exhibit 5. It goes over like other companies who are probably in this similar business kind of thing. And it goes over their approximate revenue and their acquisition value.
What's this multiple revenue mean?
They probably have different sources of revenue, so they're programmed and maybe like working with companies to help them develop their own thing, and like they probably do multiple things.
Okay.
What are you guys looking at?
Very, very.
At the end of the case study, like the very last page, page 11.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's funny. That's the whole thing. But didn't we have other case studies that didn't even finish, like before, not even before the exhibits that were like 12 pages long?
Yeah. I was like, I read it and I was just like, oh, I'm done reading it. The rest are just exhibits. Like, yay.
Yeah, you can just ignore them.
You don't even need to look. No, they're helpful, but I feel like it's not like reading. It's not like as long to like look over things and decide what's helpful and what's not.
Right. Okay, so what's the next question?
So it says to come up with ideas, why he should take the offer even if nobody thinks it's a good idea. So what are some reasons we can come up with? Like his wife. Yeah.
Which offer are we talking about?
Take the $2 million.
Because he really just wants to not do anything right now, and he really just wants to go back to his old job.
Mm-hmm. It's like a guaranteed money.
Yeah. What about this $2 million? It was preferred stock, right? $2 million in preferred stock too.
Yeah, so it's like 2 million stock options and then 2 million just cash.
Okay.
We
What
really
do we
need
think
to
about the stock
calculate
options? Because like, doesn't that guarantee him royalties?
that. Not royalties.
Um,
Well, to a point, like in a way, like obviously it's not royalties, but he would get money consistently.
He wouldn't get any money. His stock option would just increase in value if he sold it later and they managed to make the company,
But that
more successful.
that's common stock, isn't it? But preferred stock, that means you get dividends, right?
yeah, I think it's like guaranteed dividends when they pay dividends. So
Okay.
how it works is like each year, so they may not pay dividends that year, but then the next year when they do end up paying it, they'll pay you for that the year before and that year
Okay.
based on like the price. But they don't really have to still pay dividends. It's just when they do pay, they have to pay you for each year that hasn't been paid. Yeah.
Gotcha. Here I was thinking preferred meant you always get the dividends.
Yeah, you always get them when they decide to eventually pay dividends.
Okay.
What if they buy what if they buy the company and they give him stock and everything, and then they just dismantle it and then take the stuff they want and then discard the rest?
I was gonna say, like, I feel like it's about like stock isn't that like much of a guarantee either, just because like shares aren't paid first, like everyone else would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, there's always that option where, yeah, he has stock in this company, but if they just they're incorporating this company into their company, so at the point of valuation, it might be good, right? If they have a viable product, so he's assuming that they're going to take this idea, they're going to run it under this company, and then that company is going to be purchased by someone else, and at that point that he can cash out, more or less. I mean, that's what he's assuming, right? Or
Yeah.
that they're going to keep buying or keep running this company as an entity or whatever, and it's going to become wildly successful, and at that point he can either maintain control of his stock options or he can cash out later on, right? But it doesn't, again, and maybe this is just a lack of my understanding. Like, if they just literally take the parts, like the engineers and the idea of the company, which is essentially what they're buying, and cash out at like a lower dollar amount,
Yeah.
then he gets the lower dollar amount, and then he's out, and there's nothing he can do about it. Like, it's gone.
That's true.
Control. Anyway. Interesting. So, what do you guys think? Why should he do it?
No, I should take it. Yeah, I was like, it's guaranteed money. Which, if he's really just interested, like, oh, I came up with the idea and he's like just excited that he solved the problem, not worried about actually running a business, then maybe it's an okay idea.
If that's a scenario, then he's already got a CEO on the table that could run it for him. And because the rest of he doesn't want to run it, but he's got another guy that says, hey, I'll take 50% of the stock here and I'll run this beast. Like, and I know how to do it and I'm good at it and we can make a lot of money. So, like, if he's worried about that part, then just agree to the 50% and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true.
I mean, technically, he our salary, like he doesn't have to do much for it. He's just pretty much working as an employee, right?
Yeah. I think he's like helping coding, but I'm not sure. Like, I know he hired other engineers to help code and do things like that, but I think from his background that he was also kind of coming up with the solution in coding as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's an engineer for sure. But obviously, to do something on the scale he's trying to do it on, needs more people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He still gets. I mean, if you're looking at the numbers, the stock is easy to calculate. It's if you look down on the number 6, it's 25% of the proceeds from preferred sales. So if they're going to give him $2 million in stock options, and let's say he sells those stock options immediately for $2 million, he has to get 25% of that, or $500,000, split to his investors, right off the bat. If he sells it for $2 million, let's say later on it's worth $10 million. That number grows. It's still 25% because they're benefiting off the proceeds of the sale of the preferred shares, not just like the preferred shares necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Okay. Let's see. 5 we've kind of already talked about. So 6, how much money will Doug receive? As a group, realize that this is likely that nobody has a fully correct answer to this question. Here are some hints. Since half of the buyout offer is cash, you need to treat it as cash sale and give the investors 2 times their investment in cash. Oh, so there it tells you that with the $2 million, the investors, their return, and I think they all put in 100,000. So 600,000 would already be gone, right?
Well, but they also have different blah 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 blah. They also
Wait, what does that mean? Give the investors 2 times the investment in cash.
So there's 3 investors and they all put in 100,000. So it would be 600,000 after the 2 times.
But they also had an interest calculation in there, didn't they?
Yeah, they had the option for interest, or they could take more share.
Yeah, I think it was like you could get stock. Yeah.
Stock
Like
discount, or
their
they
interest
could
would
take.
convert. I'm just going back to the case study real quick.
I mean, we kind of talked about the second bullet point there. But that's just 25%.
Oh yeah, sorry, I jumped. My bad.
Oh, so okay. How much did the investors each put in?
100,000 each, I believe.
Okay, so the interest was 50%. So you have to give them back double what they. So he actually doesn't get the 2 million in cash. He gets 2 million.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, that's not as good a deal at all.
And plus, they have the option. Okay, here it is. So in December 2006, they closed on a 300,000 round of angel funding from 3 investors. Each investor contributed 100,000 in the form of a convertible note that paid 8% interest back to the angel investor at the time of the next round of financing. So you have to give them double their money and 8% interest if they did that, or they would get a discount of 25% on the share price set by Series A investors, or if Yieldex was sold for equity, they would get 25% of the shares in the new company.
So basically, these guys are waltzing out. If he sells off, they're waltzing out with 200 grand a piece, so 600 grand total, plus whatever their interest is, which is 8%.
Yeah.
Right. Or does the interest come into play at all?
I would think it would.
Oh, that paid 8% interest back to convert their loans into Series A shares at 25% discount to the new share price. Okay, and that paid 8% interest back on the next round of finance. But if he's not doing that, then I don't know exactly what that means for the 8%. I guess it would be applicable.
I think would it be the next round of finance? It's like Series A financing.
Did they say how much the shares were valued at?
They don't know yet. I don't think they set a price until like he gets investing from someone else.
Right. So this is basically impossible to calculate.
Yeah.
So let's assume. How many shares are there total? Do we know?
Down at the bottom, I think it says, let's see. So you have, I could add it all up real fast.
I got it in Excel too.
Okay.
Well, total
So-
common shares is 9,933,333.
Right, but that's how the angel investors don't get anything though out of that. So it's just him with his shares.
So it's
At the
really close to 10, what is this? 10 million shares.
Because he's got like reserved shares in here too.
Oh, it tells you at the bottom.
Oh, the total Series A investment.
Yeah, so if you go to Exhibit 4, it goes common shares. And then it tells you a total
Yeah.
at the bottom. It just says, yeah.
So if the company is valued at 3,385,800, which is the total Series A investment, is that because essentially the conversion of they already did the conversion of the C note, right? Because they've got Angel A, B, and C, Tom Washington sequel, so they've got the total Series A investment amount, including both the new VC firm for $2 million.
Yeah.
So the company is basically valued at $3,385,800 divided by 9,900,000. Am I doing that right?
Yeah.
Or is this the other?
I'm trying to think.
No, because each share would be divided, or each dollar would be divided by the quantity of shares.
Right.
So each share would be 34 cents at this valuation.
Is how much? 34
34
cents.
cents.
Yeah.
Huh. Because like even doing that, like I don't really know how that works though. Because that would mean that each investor with a 25% discount gets their shares at 26 cents a piece,
Mm-hmm.
I think. I don't know.
Cheap. I would hope I would hope the prices went up.
But there's like a bajillion shares.
That's true. I feel like if they took some shares off the market, like then prices would go up. But they'd have to come to an agreement on where to like take the shares off of. Because they both are splitting it so far and then have other options for the company.
So I'm looking at Exhibit 3, number 2. The deal that Shields was trying to convince. Yeah, or was that Exhibit 2?
Yeah. This was the letter sent or the contract sent to Tom Shields
Yeah.
for him becoming CEO.
2A there. Am I reading this right?
What? Yeah. $1,000 a day up until the point where he's actually hired as CEO.
So monthly salary.
It's roughly equivalent because there's about 20 working days a month. So if he's on for a month, he'd make 20 grand.
Okay, I see. Yeah, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not really like I feel like there's like a lot of up in the air stuff in this case, so I don't really know specifically how or what to calculate.
Yeah, it all kind of depends still.
Yeah.
Okay, should we go on to the next one?
Yeah. Discuss as a group how much does Shields deserve? Why does Washing want Doug to reject the turn offer? Won't Washing get a pretty good return on this investment? I hold out for more. How much does Washing give up if Doug gives Shields 50% of the equity?
I keep getting Washing and Shields confused.
Yeah, I'm like, who's who? Okay.
So Shields is the guy he's the venture capitalist they're trying to bring in as CEO.
And Washing would be the CEO.
No,
Washing
Shields
not
would
be.
be.
Wait, isn't Washington the guy that introduced Doug to Shields?
Yeah, I think Washing is the one who is now trying to offer like the turn deal because he was like, oh, maybe you should talk to him about this. And then Washing now is like trying to buy the company. I think.
I think Washington told him not to take it, but
Oh.
yeah, Cosman became frustrated with the fundraising process. Washington encouraged him to continue to meet with investors. It's another guy that wanted to buy the turn thing.
Gotcha. So this is like his friend who got him in touch with Shields, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because everyone kind of loses out if he takes the deal.
Yeah, Washington is invested in the company. He doesn't want it to sell.
Yeah.
Smolin is the former colleague that wants him to sell to turn.
Okay. So how much does Shields deserve? I feel like, I don't know. I feel like, oh yeah.
The stock is not in Yieldex stock. It is in turn stock. So that makes more sense, because it's based on the parent company stock. That's what he's getting, $2 million of their stock, not of. So they can't really sell it off and make out like bandits, like we were thinking. So sorry about
that. So Shields, does he deserve the 50%? I'd say that's fair because
He's willing to do all the work.
yeah. I was like, the other guy just came up with the idea, but I feel like this guy is like already invested some and he knows how to run the company. Like he's still running the business from the very beginning.
Right. I don't know. If he can really do a good job, I think there's a possibility of like winning, if you will. Like 50%, like it might seem like a ton up front, right? But if it's like you and this guy running this business and either making it successful or not, I mean, 50% of nothing is still 50% of nothing, but 50% of, 300 million is way better than, 4 million total. So, yeah.
Let's see. Why does Washing want Doug to reject the turn offer?
Because he's not going to make any money.
Yeah.
He gets the shaft.
And then it says, won't Washington get a pretty good return on his investment? I feel like no.
I mean, it's like okay, but not for like a venture capitalist.
Yeah, like he could get a ton if the company does well.
Yeah, like a 0.5x return on your $100,000 investment. Like he's making 150 grand.
Yeah.
He's making 50 grand. Like that's not even. That's not even worth it.
I mean, he'd be on the board of directors, so he'd be always involved at least.
Yeah, it's a lot of work for not very much money. I mean, again, if he's a venture capital guy and he's looking at other stuff that is what, like 11x and 10x returns.
Yeah.
Or there we go, 11, 15, 15, 12.1, 23.3 times the original return.
Yeah. So 5 is bad.
Is a drop in the bucket.
Why hold out for more? I feel like he would get more money later if the company did well. And then how much does Washington give up if Doug gives Shields 50% of the equity?
How much does Washington get?
Give up.
How much does Washington give up if Doug gives Shields 50% of the equity?
See, that's another one of those things. Like, I don't really know.
Well, I'm looking at the bottom.
I don't know.
I didn't do the Excel sheet yet, so it's like, I feel like I'm flying a little bit blind here.
When we're looking at Exhibit 4, I mean, Washington invested just as much as Angel B and C.
Who's Angel A? There's like a dinky little investment in it. Because that was like the chump change version.
I think Tom Washington is considered an angel, but he's like the only named one.
Yeah, and there's just 3 of them who all put in 100,000.
Well, the 156, like in Exhibit 4 on page, whatever that is, the Angel A, B, C, and Tom Washing sequel, right? They're at 156, but they invested 100,000 even. That the 156, what is that? Like, how does that get created? Is that the interest? Is that like the
Maybe
5% discount?
It's unclear because it doesn't say how many shares are involved with that. It just says that's how much money they put in. Maybe it's a conversion note because they haven't agreed on how much it's worth yet.
Right, which I get, but like,
Hmm.
well, like they put in 100 grand a piece, right?
Yeah.
So,
but then with 8% interest, really they only get 8,000 more.
Well, depending on, it's not just 8,000. We're talking about compound interest here. So that's the thing. It depends on how many times it's compounded. It depends on. Anyway,
that's true. Oh, it says each of the angel investor also has the option to increase their initial investment up to that much.
So they're bumping their investment up.
Yeah, they have the option to increase their initial investment up to that much.
Okay, and so we're assuming that they would do that if they see the company going in a good direction.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out how they were calculating that, so I was like, ugh, hate my life.
So Tom Washington's an angel investor too, or is he just like a normal investor? Because they never specified.
He's not an angel investor. He's a VC.
Okay.
Not a big one, but
Convertible note paid at 8%, but also angel investors have the option to convert their loans into Series A shares at 25% discount. So they'd each get 25% more than what they're paying for.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sorry, I'm plugging numbers in.
No, you're fine. Let's see. Number 8 says, can Doug use the turn offer to his advantage if he rejects it? I feel like he could, in the sense of be like, hey, I have someone who's willing to purchase my company for 2 million cash and 2 million stock options. So it's obviously worthwhile to the investors. So maybe investors would be more willing to put in more money if they know some people are already interested in purchasing the company.
Turn offer, okay. By turn.
Did you guys read? There's like 2 other cases.
Well, I
Yeah.
kind of had to turn off my brain when I was reading it because it's like, okay, someone wants to buy it. I didn't really understand. Okay. And I see now that turn's capitalized, and I thought it was like referring to like a term instead of a name.
Mm.
So, blonde moment for me. Okay. Can Doug use the turn offer to his advantage if he rejects it?
I think so.
I don't
Well,
really understand.
I think if he rejects it, he can get bigger venture capitalists to invest in the company, because in the case study it said that Silicon Valley, while he was meeting with Silicon Valley investors, which is one of the bigger venture capitalists.
Yeah.
Because that was the other case study that we did, the A&A or something. I forgot.
Understand the question, I guess. How can Doug use the turn offer to his advantage? How can he use it to his advantage if he rejects it? Like, how could anyone?
I just feel like you could ask other investors for more, because you could say like, oh, I have other people offering me to buy my company. Like, it's a worthwhile company if people want to purchase it.
Okay.
And so you could try to get more money that way. Like, if you want it, you could pay me $3 million and I'll take your offer instead of settling with the 2 with them.
Okay.
I hate that type of negotiation.
I was like, yeah. It's
Like,
smart sometimes though.
it depends on who you're dealing with. If it was me, I'd be like, fine, have them buy it. Good luck.
You know, I had someone do that to me once when I was thinking about buying someone's car. It's like, you better hurry because I have other guys offering me this car. So I felt rushed to buy the car.
Yeah.
I didn't end up buying it, but I figured out later that guy was just trying to pressure me into buying it.
Yeah, people have done that to me too. Anyway. Same thing. Car. It's a lot of times it's with cars. Like, oh well, I have like my friend offered me this much, and my other friend offered me this much. Well, I don't care. Like, I'm here with cash right now. Like, do you want my cash, and I'll take your car or not? If your friend offer you more, sell it to your friend. I don't care.
Like, I can find
This isn't
another
an emotional
car.
transaction. Right. It's like your car's one of 40 million Toyotas that they made. So what?
Yeah.
There's another one out there.
True.
Okay.
Okay, so number 9. Click here to read the case B. As a group vote, should Tom hire Barr? Yes or no? So, did you guys read the case B?
Yeah. You guys want the short version of it?
Yeah, I've read some of it already. Like I skimmed over it.
So basically,
DKs. Wait, what's
Shields
the
and
DK?
Cosman think they need a VP of engineering. Shields wants someone with like a lot of engineering experience that understands the marketplace really well, and Cosman wants someone that basically has experience in more like managerial stuff, but doesn't necessarily have to understand the advertising market that they're in. So Barr is another guy that came from washing, right?
I think so.
And he's one more on Cosman's side. He doesn't completely understand the advertising space, basically. So
Yeah. So I know
yeah.
it's like Shields wants to hire him because he's worked with him before and really liked him and thought it would be good for the startup. But then Cosman doesn't, because he knows he doesn't understand the whole concept of it. So he wants to like wait and find someone who understands like the Yieldex concept. Yeah.
Right.
So I did not read that. I did not see this. This is like a year gone by.
Yeah.
And here's an update.
Yeah. So it's basically like Shields became CEO and they almost sold the business for $4 million, but then last minute decided not to. They could keep growing it.
So it has the
And
same situation happened again.
what?
Almost happened again.
Well, they could have sold it for $4 million, but they decided not to. They're going to keep growing it, but now they're deciding if they should hire this guy who doesn't really understand the concept behind Yieldex. Like he doesn't understand that, but he's worked with startups and he's worked with Shields before, and he Shields liked him a lot. So they just need to decide if they should hire someone who doesn't really understand the concepts behind Yieldex, like why they built it, like the problem they are solving, or if they should keep looking for someone who does understand. May not be that great of like a manager or business person.
Got it.
So what do you guys think? Should they?
I thought he should hire him because I feel like you could always teach people. And if he already has like the like right skills to lead a team and he's worked in that environment before, I feel like that's more beneficial than throwing someone who understands it but has no idea how to run a team. Because like the whole point of bringing him on was like to help organize everyone and like make the team more unified.
I agree. If he's a good project manager and he has lots of experience, engineering, just not this particular concept. I mean, they can get him on board with the concept fairly easily. They just need to explain it well, and they need to, he needs to understand what they're doing. And if he's actually a good software engineer and architect, then he will take the time to do that because he can't organize his team well unless he really understands what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
But again, project manager, the ideal project manager doesn't necessarily know your market space. They're the ones that just needs to organize everyone. They need to basically reach out to experts and say, hey, they just have to organize them. They don't need to understand every single minute detail in the space that they're working in.
Yeah, I agree.
Jason, Connor, what do you guys think?
So he's more of a. Oh, go ahead. So he's just there to organize people, right? Not really like guide the projects. Or what exactly is his role? Because it's kind of hard for a tech company if you don't really understand what your team is doing. Because if it's just like organizing a project, I would go with somebody who understands like the programming behind what they're doing instead of just somebody who's there to organize people, because people can organize themselves sometimes if it's a small enough group.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if it's like a larger group, maybe they should hire him just because he can manage them better and have them work more efficiently. But
Yeah,
There's
I think
five.
his whole job would just be, yeah, there's 5 engineers. His job would just be like the manager of them. So they would all report back to him. So they were all on the same page.
okay, well, I guess I'd probably just hire him, and then be probably the easiest thing to do because you know how to manage them.
Okay, so the question is just whether or not to hire him.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just read it. I say hire him. I mean, why not? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, if they're a growing company, they're going to make more hires.
Right. Well, they just hired 2 new engineers, so yeah, for sure. Number 10 is basically like, consider how this decision will affect the following: their company culture, their leadership team, and investor relationships.
I felt like it would benefit a lot of that, like leadership team. You'd all be more on the same page. Someone would always know what was going on. So you could like kind of help say, hey, this is what we still are missing. If you could work on this. And company culture, I feel like I don't think it's bad to report to someone. I just think that makes you more organized.
Yeah, I saw it because Cosman would report to Bar, right?
Um,
I was saying the last paragraph.
Yeah, if you wondered how Cosman and Barr would interact as the 2 leaders of the Boulder office. So they would both be, they'd be like co-leaders.
And said the Bar needs Cosman's help with it because Cosman really be the best in training new people because he understands his own invention very best.
Yeah. So, I mean, as long as they got along with each other, I feel like the culture of the office wouldn't change too much. And then investor relationships, I feel like it's more structured. So as an investor, I would feel more comfortable having like a more structured business than everyone just kind of working on what they work on, if that makes sense, without really having someone overseeing it all.
Yeah, I think it would improve, especially because John Parr has a good track record. So they'd see you bringing in someone with experience that has been successful with this type of thing in the past. So it's like, oh yeah, like they're getting more people on board that like know what they're doing and they've made it successful. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, go for it. Make
That's
more money.
true.
So did you guys read the C case?
I skimmed over it, but I'm opening the
What is it?
PowerPoint again.
This one threw me for a loop. Oh, it's just interesting. It's like, whoa, okay. I can just read it real quick if you guys want.
Yeah, I was like, I have it open too.
All right, so Yieldex KC. 6 months later, email from John Barr, VP of Engineering, to Tom Shields, CEO. Tom, Doug continues to be disruptive. His salary is $170K. He holds the title CTO, which I should have. His team wasn't functional and has been replaced. At the board meeting today, do the right thing for the right things for the company. So the question with regard to that email is, what does do the right things for the company mean? Should Tom fire Doug? Does Yieldex fire Cosman?
Why does
I was like,
Tom
I don't
need
even
to
think
be-
he can fire him though, because he's like completely in half. You know what I mean?
It's too many
The
shares.
board would have to like choose to fire him, but it's his own company.
I mean, I mean,
Just because he
those
owns,
things happen.
yeah, just because he owns.
Well, I guess you could still fire him, but he just still has shares.
But I guess I'm missing. Why does Tom think he should be the CTO? That's Chief Technical Officer, right?
Mhm. I think it's
Barr
because
that's what Barr
technically all
was.
the engineers report to Barr, and I think Cosman is mostly there, just like overseeing because it's his company and things like that. So he still helps, I think. Like he was mostly helping with the team stuff, but then they brought on someone with more experience. I wonder what it means to be disruptive too. Like he's like changing. Actually, even though you said we're gonna do it that way, we're not. We're still gonna do it this other way.
Doug can just walk up and be like, just fire Tom.
Right, just like being a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
I don't know, because it's like,
Well, it's not really clear as to why they're not functioning properly. It just
Yeah.
says he wants Doug to step down. So there's really not enough information to say that Doug should be kicked off as CTO.
That's true.
Doug's going to get voted off the island.
Or the other way you could read it could be, I don't like Doug, so he should step down as CTO.
Well, first of all, if Doug and Shields is getting along really well, Tom shouldn't try to get in between them.
Yeah.
Two founders.
Like, that's the thing, though. So Doug, they're debating hiring Barr because Doug doesn't want to be the one like in control or managing a team, right?
All right.
But he's also the chief technology officer, and Barr is the VP of engineering, right?
Yeah.
So theoretically, Barr is the organizer, if you will, of the engineering group or the engineers who are basically building the software, right?
Mhm.
So if Doug is basically just hanging around, he doesn't want to manage
Yeah.
the team, but he's there. Like we're talking about a company that's a CEO, a CTO, a VP of engineering, and like 5 engineers. So we're talking like an 8-person company, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does Doug really have to do there anymore?
Probably not much.
Like,
Maybe that's why he's brought up the salary as well. Like he's taking a big salary, but he's not doing much.
right? I'm sure he's working on stuff like he's engineering stuff, but like he kind of like if he's not engineering, like he's not engineering the software according to the VP of engineering's plan.
Yeah.
Like if he's like just doing whatever he wants, or his
Because
own
he's
way,
like, oh, I own the company. Yeah.
right? Like I'm the CTO. I'm gonna like I hired this guy to like have everyone like work together, but then he just like doesn't work together. Like he does kind of what he wants to do, and that
Yeah.
would be very if you're trying to manage and lead a team.
Can you fire someone if they own enough stock in a company anyway?
Only the board, I think, can vote you off.
But does that mean you lose your stock?
No,
I
No, I
think
don't
you
think so.
keep it, but you just aren't an employee. You just are a stock owner.
You just can't make decisions anymore,
Okay.
but you
he'd
still
still
get.
be on. He'd still be on the board and stuff, though. That's the
Oh, you
thing.
would?
Yeah.
Well, he could swing his
Let's say
toes.
someone owns
Yeah, that's
80.
right.
Okay. Let's say someone owns like 70% of the company. Can they really do anything about it?
I think so. As a company as a whole, you can like you have boards to help make sure like the CEO isn't like becoming like super corrupt or like selfish or stuff. So I think they have the boards just to make sure everything's running smoothly. So I think the board could still vote to have him taken down as CEO, but if he still owns a lot of the stock, he would still be on the board. He just wouldn't be like a the CEO anymore. They would like find someone else to fill that position.
It was kind of like Apple, because Apple fired Steve Jobs, and then they
Yeah.
hired him later on.
Yeah, they fired Steve Jobs and then they got destroyed. And then anyway,
So
I'm
also,
not
okay,
an
so
Apple person, but it's funny still.
yes, like the next question: does Yieldex need Cosmin anymore? I would say yes, since it's his invention. All he has to do, because like, so if he goes to another company, it wouldn't be violating any trade secret, would it? Because it's his.
Well, it's not his anymore. It's the company's.
Okay.
Because this is a company now, right? The company owns
Mhm.
The idea.
I think he filed a patent or something, right?
Right.
So he owns portion of the company, but he doesn't own the entire, like, he doesn't own the patent itself. The company does.
Okay.
So no, he can't just waltz away to some other company and sell the idea.
But would it be violating any trade secrets if or trademarks or copyrights or whatever if he remakes his own original work somewhere else?
Yeah. It'd be patent infringement. Because he doesn't own the patent.
Well, I think he does
But, like,
though, because in the very beginning,
for example,
he got the patent for himself
okay,
before he even started the business.
okay.
I think
so
it's
there's-
said in
I've heard
the.
of games like this. So, if you ever heard of a game called Assassin's Creed, there's a team that makes him like writes the code for like how he walks or how he jumps and stuff. But then a whole nother company hired some of the engineers that were on the Assassin's Creed team to make what's that? Shadow of Mordor. Okay. And he walks very similar. He jumps very similar in this other game. And so the Assassin's Creed company or Ubisoft tried to sue the company because they said that you just copied the same code of how this character walks in the game, and they proved that the code is different. So if Cosmin goes and rewrites his own new invention with changes, because he obviously knows the end result. I mean, he doesn't have to copy paste anything. I mean, he can still prove that it's his own original work, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's not patent infringement. Because there's only so many ways to do things. Like all video games, walking is like everyone's probably going to have some walking in a video game.
Oh, well, they said they copied the code for how he walked.
Right. So as long as it's different, it's fine. It can even be like a very minor difference, and as long as it's different, it's okay.
Yeah. So I was thinking like, oh, we better not lose Cosmin because he'll go and write a new code for his invention there.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll
I think
improve it.
I don't. He could probably get away with it, but it's like one of those things. It's like a very gray area. Like, how do you prove that it's not unless you have like someone looking at the code, like you're saying?
Mm.
But at the
Yeah,
same
it's a really big case.
right? But this is like the fundamental concept of the business, right?
Mhm.
Like Assassin's Creed, you're talking about a very like a fairly minor portion of the.
Oh well, I was just talking about one because there's more about how he like.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, so that character's behavior and how it functions, right?
Mhm.
That's what they're talking about. But
Mhm.
like, it would be different if like they hired some of the lead engineers and they called it, I don't know, Hitman Mafia, and then changed some of the stuff but everything else was like the whole concept of the game was basically the same thing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like if they took the whole thing and then just like kind of transported it over, yeah, they rewrote the code. But if they took the fundamental ideas, like the intellectual property parts of it out, versus just like, yeah, he walks this way, and like, yeah, we're engineers, like we we designed this, and we know kind of, we understand the concepts and how this is something we've kind of done before, so yeah, he kind of might walk similarly, but he doesn't walk the same. That's just like a small piece. Because like all companies are like, people are putting different chunks together that work together well, but it's not the whole thing just like, more or less copy pasted without necessarily being copy pasted.
That's the same principle I'm talking about with this program, because like if he just makes a whole new invention to it, but rewrites it completely uniquely, like he could start up a whole new business to compete.
I don't think he would though.
Because like he doesn't want to start another business.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to start.
I don't know. Like for me, it would be like one of those things. Like if he did that, he'd probably get sued and he'd probably lose.
Oh, that kind of takes up on the next question. Like, what value does Doug bring to the company now that they have his algorithm?
Yeah, they already know how to build it, so do they really need him anymore? I feel like yes and no.
Wait, can he come up with a new algorithm?
He might be able to, and algorithms always get tweaked all the time. But the thing is, I don't know. In my opinion, I think the company probably owns the algorithm at this point.
Probably.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
But like the algorithm is going to be like the whole thing. Like how it's the behavior that they're talking about modifying. Like if he has to modify the algorithm to the point where it's not the same as theirs, then it's a different idea and it's a different company. Like it's like I don't know, you could call it like a derivative work or same concept, different method.
Yeah.
But if that's
all
the
right,
same, then you can't just like reproduce it somewhere else. Yeah.
How could Doug have avoided getting into this situation? Not being so disruptive?
Sold it to turn.
I feel like he couldn't really have avoided this if he wanted to make a business out of it. Like eventually it's going to get large enough that you're going to have to hire other people. And if you don't want to be the person in charge, you're going to have to step down and like leave it to the people who like that's what they got hired to do.
Right.
And maybe he could have avoided it by not hiring Tom.
True. But then what would he have done? He doesn't want to run the team.
Yeah. So you'd still be in the same situation.
Do you want to change your mind about the buyout now?
I feel like no, like because he still is an owner of the company, so he still gets money.
Mm-hmm.
Probably more than he would have gotten with the $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he makes a good salary too, so I don't know why
Yeah.
he'd want to leave a different job because he's not gonna get. I don't think he's gonna get another high positioning job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still wouldn't have sold it at that point. But I mean, if this were me personally, right, and this is like my baby, like this is a cool idea, but like if I was bringing in other people to like manage it and do all that stuff, like I don't know why. I don't know. I think he just needs to let go. Like if he's not, like if his key contribution is the main algorithm, like I understand why he wants to draw salary, but maybe he should go explore other things he could do in the company versus disrupt the guy he hired to manage the team.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like by hiring that guy, he kind of did displace himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he was doing before. Like, what does a CTO do in a company that is literally all they're trying to do is develop software based on an algorithm you originally wrote, so it's your original work. That's great. But like when you have someone that's like right under you, basically managing the team instead. Like, what does Doug do?
Yeah.
Like, if all he's doing is like arguing with Barr about stuff that Barr is doing, like how he's doing it, then why doesn't he just be the CTO and then get rid of him and then just manage the team if that's what he wants to do? But he's stated he doesn't want to do that.
That's a good point.
What do you think, Connor? Because you brought up the other part, so this is more
Well,
for
I'm
you.
just kind of the whole, if I created it, I get to keep it kind of person. Like the whole Steve Jobs thing. But you do make some good points. Like, he hired someone to replace him, and he I guess he just really wants to not do anything and collect on the money.
But he also has like this attachment where it's like his baby, so he doesn't quite want to let it go.
Yeah.
Does he though? Like, he invented it, but
Right, but he's sticking around, right? So if he just wants to collect money, then just, that's the hard thing. He has to like justify his existence now, right?
Yeah.
He can't just collect 170 grand a year, claim to be the CTO,
and not
just
do anything.
be annoying to the VP of engineering that he hired, and still collect the money. Like, he's got to do something else. He actually has to do whatever CTOs do, and let the other guy do his job. Because if he's just getting the way, then he's literally just like a leech. He's just collecting money. Yeah, it's his idea, but he's just collecting money, doing nothing.
Well, I was just thinking about my alternative thing from the write-up. Like, he could have sold his technology to many companies, like a distributor too, and collected on all of the royalties of all of his sales. Like, if your advertisements bring in so much money, I get this much money of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. He could have done that. But I don't know if he would have trusted other companies to execute his vision properly.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the real question. Like, that's the whole, should he sell it to Turn at the beginning, or should he develop it himself because he thinks it'll be much more valuable? Because if all he wants to do is license it, then he should have worked out a licensing agreement with Turn, because at the end of the day, by taking those $2 million, well, okay, so what is it? 2 million times 0.75, right? So he's got $1.5 million in preferred stock at Turn. So if they take his idea and they incorporate it into their own software or their own stuff, his algorithm or whatever, theoretically, they're going to change the market the way he wanted to. So it still gets his idea out there. It still functions. And he still makes a crap ton of money. Except he doesn't have to work now.
Yeah.
It's hard because I don't understand what his motivations are, really. To me, he doesn't seem that interested.
Yeah. He seems like kind of like what I would want to do. Oh, hey, I'm going to be involved in this company. I don't want to do anything. I want to hire people. I want to hire other people to run it for me, and I just want the money from founding something.
Right.
I mean, that's really the dream job, isn't it? To found a company, hire people to run it, and collect on the profits.
Yeah. The hard part is you can't live on the profits of a startup.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still. I mean, he has to be actively involved and engaged in the company, like as an employee, to make any money while it's going. Like, it's great to be like, oh yeah, I could totally like just come back and like sell my shares off and like collect a crap ton of money, which seems like more like what he wants to do. But he also wants to dip his little fingers in the whole time in the middle. So in that case, you might as well just sell the Turn and go start working at the other company he was working at.
Well, I guess really this is bringing me up questions. Why is he being disruptive? Why is he not being as involved? Is he working on another project to improve another program or algorithm? Like what? Like,
Yeah, I think we just don't know.
what is? Yeah.
Like, you can assume stuff, but it doesn't say.
Professionally speaking, I guess he could totally be fired.
Well, like Jason brought up, Steve Jobs was fired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
anyway, if you guys have ever read stuff, like not even like the Steve Jobs documentary, but you just kind of understand a little bit, like the guys that fired Steve Jobs, like the other board members and stuff, they were totally shady about it. Like they were sneaky, and they basically blindsided him with it, right? To get rid of him. And then basically stuff started to tank, you know. They basically brought him back. And basically what Steve Jobs did is he systematically eliminated every single one of those guys. I mean,
Which
he was
is
very
probably
vindictive.
smart, yeah.
He got rid of all of them. That's why, like, when everyone talks about like the rise of Apple and stuff, and how great Steve Jobs was, because he wasted all the board members. Like he made sure he owned that thing to the point where no one could basically do anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, pretty interesting. So everyone probably wants to go now. So
Okay, so we'll just
have
start
you decided
our
on something?
review right now.
Okay. So I'm pretty
Connor,
sure we're all in
take it
agreement
away.
that he doesn't want to, shouldn't take the $2 million. And we all
Yeah.
predicted that, right? That's all our hypothesis.
Yeah, all of us voted he shouldn't, just because later on we think he could get more money, and like once he uses the $2 million to pay off investors and stuff, it's really not that great of a deal.
Yeah.
And then for the other two cases, yes, he should have hired Barr. And then should he get fired? Should Barr be able to yes and no? Just depends why he's being disruptive. Yeah.
It depends on what point of view you're looking from, I guess. I think from Shields' point of view, no, he shouldn't be fired because Shields is kind of has a job either way.
Yeah.
It could also backfire if they tried to fire him, because
Mm-hmm.
he could try to oust everyone. But again,
No, that's true.
we really keep coming back to that one point. Like, does he want to actually be involved, or does he just want the money? And like, I don't know, because that affects case B and C. If he doesn't really want to be involved, then yes, hire Barr and assign yourself something like a menial task, like, you know, being part of the engineering team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or being CTO, but I don't know, playing video games on your computer all day if you just want to collect the money. You know, I don't know, something. But
Awesome.
Right? If he just wants to earn the money later on, really liked working at the last company, which was brought up, then he should just hire Barr and say, I'm going to keep my shares and I'm going to let you guys run it, and I'll pop in for board meetings, but I'm going to go work at this other company doing something totally different.
Yeah.
It's like Wayne Enterprises. He goes and works at the hospital. That's all the other guys run it.
That's true. Yep, that's our summary. Does anyone else have anything else they want to say?
No.
Nope. I think we pretty much covered it all.
I was like, we touched every question. I feel like we did good.
Beat that horse to death.
Awesome.
All right.
Okay, so I'll stop this broadcast.